Hello and welcome to Spotlight. I'm Jerry Dixon, Artistic Director at Village Theater, and I want to thank each and every one of you for all of your enthusiastic response to some exciting new programs, projects, and ideas that we've been rolling out with an emphasis on partnerships. This episode, you'll learn about Next Stage with co-instructors Deirdre Woods and Jessica Spencer. So, Jessica and Deirdre, let's bring Next Stage into the spotlight.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Jess Spencer. There she is. Woohoo! Yay! Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jess Spencer. My pronouns are she, her, and I am one of the co-curators of Next Stage.
Woohoo! And I'm Deirdre Woods. My pronouns are also she, her. And as Jessica said, I am one of the co-curators, co-producers, whatever.
All the
Next Stage.
things.
All the things. All the things.
Yay! I'm so excited that we're here. Thank you, Jerry, for giving us this space to share this exciting programming that we've got going on. This is a big week for us. First class is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
First class is tomorrow. Well, welcome everybody. We're here to just tell you all about Next Stage goodness and everything that we have been putting in to get this program started. All those things. So anyways, I'll just dive in really fast and give you the quick version of what Next Stage is. So for those of you who may not know, Next Stage is a free online class series designed to illuminate, support, and encourage the professional artistic experience through conversation and practical application. That's a really long way to say that this is a program designed to foster and support in a holistic way artists of many, many different backgrounds and craft focuses.
It's also a way, I would say, to build community among artists here in Seattle and beyond. That's the one good thing about being on this virtual medium, is that we expand our reach beyond just here in the Pacific Northwest, which we're really excited about also.
Yeah. So there are three words I want to highlight in our little statement there. One is illuminate. And the big purpose for that word is we as artists go through so many things throughout the process that aren't talked about, that aren't supported. And so one thing Deirdre and I really want to do is illuminate those things and get us talking about it. So we feel like they're not as scary maybe, or they're not as taboo, or they're not as supported as they maybe need to be. And the other word is support. Deirdre, I'll toss it to you with that.
Yeah, support, really creating a space where we let people know that being an artist, support is at the core and at the base of what we want to help people to realize, that we're all in this together. When something happened and the industry shut down, it didn't just affect one person, it affected all of us. So by hopefully offering these workshops and practical courses, it's a way for us to extend our network beyond what we know to increase that level of support.
Mm-hmm. And through that support also comes encouragement, right? If we're giving you conversation to talk about these things, practical support to learn how to incorporate them better in life, then encouragement to go out and live that truth and incorporate these things in your practice as an artist and in your business life as an artist, and just as within your agency, right? As much as possible. Deidre the other day actually said something that I wrote down because I was like, also, this is now the core mission of Next Stage. It is so good. And I was like, that's it. That's it. She just boiled it down. Do you want to say it?
Okay. Okay.
So good.
And I didn't remember this until Jessica told me that I said this. And I was like, who said that? Oh, I guess it was me. So the statement was, ask the question, can we feed an artist's soul rather than asking them for more?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really came out of a conversation we had about, you know, when you're the artist, you're seeking and you're going in and the institution wants things from you and you're always on edge. You're always on the, okay, I have to do this. Your cup gets depleted. And so we're trying to really reimagine what that should look like and change it from a we're giving so much. Now it's time to get back and really think about what that means for ourselves.
Yeah, an artist's job is literally to be vulnerable, no matter
Yeah.
what you're doing. If you're directing the room, be vulnerable. Designing, be vulnerable. What can you find through that? Like finding that creativity through vulnerability. As artistic decision makers, we're often asked to be vulnerable and listen or expose our lived experiences in order to make the best decisions. That depletes your cup, like you said, and it's just so important. So I really do think Next Stage is our offering to help fill up that cup. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the 50-foot flyover. You're like, I still don't know what it is, but that's okay. We'll come back to it. That's our like core statement missions. The reason why we're doing this crazy thing here. So we also want to introduce ourselves so that you can get to know us a little bit more, because through this program you'll spend time with us. So Deidre, I will toss it to you to introduce your wonderful self.
Okay, well, I'm Deidre Woods, or Deidre D. Woods, and I am an actor. I am also, it's so weird to say I'm an actor now during these times because I don't spend much time doing that, but I do miss it. I'm a writer also. I am a producer. I'm a collaborator, a teaching artist, storyteller. I'm a mom, a wife. You know, I have so many different identities. And during this time, I've had a lot of time to examine them all, as I'm sure we all have. So as an artist, I see myself, especially during this time, as a connector and an uplifter of voices. I'm always interested and focused on uplifting marginalized voices. But someone I was in a meeting with said something really great that made me rethink that term marginalized. And they said that instead of saying marginalized, they use underinvited. Because in the community that you live in, you are not marginalized if you see people with you, but you are underinvited to spaces and rooms that where a lot of times power is held. So I thought that term was really great, and I've been toying around with that.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Some of my favorite performances that I've done here in Seattle. Can I talk about that?
Yes, please, because I love them.
I did a production of Wedding Band with Intiman Theater, and Chris Einsweiler was my so gracious and lovely partner in that
so many
production.
Village Theater will recognize Chris from
Yes.
Matilda and from 39 Steps and producers. And I saw Wedding Band. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah. It was directed by Valerie Curtis Newton, and it was amazing. And I think it's so interesting just how the time that has passed in between when we did that production and now. I feel like if we did that production now, we would have an even more powerful response, just given what's happening socially in our communities. So that was one. And then I did one.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, because I'm like remembering reading that program. And when do you remember? Not that you have to remember these things, but when was it written? Wedding Band was written
Alice Childress wrote Wedding Band in the 1930s, I
Yes,
believe. Don't
because
quote me, but I think so.
yeah, and I was just like, this wasn't written today when I saw it.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Which
yeah.
is always heartbreaking when that happens, when you're like, wow, we really cannot get our together,
Yeah.
you know. But I was so moved by how current and now that play felt.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one would be Wild Horses. I did a one-person show, also with Intiman, and it was directed by Sheila Daniels, whom I also love and had the best time working with. And that was my first time doing a one-person play. And I was terrified, even to audition, because I'm like, I can't do a one-person show. No. And I was inspired and cheered on by my friends Sarah Porkalob and Meme Garcia to really just, they're like, Deidre, I don't know why you don't see this. We see it, do it. So
Yeah.
it was a great experience. Great
Mm,
experience.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. We have another photo of one of my other favorite all-time shows, which is Why the Kingford Sings, which was Book It, right?
Yes, it was directed by Malika Oyetiman. Yeah.
I loved that show. I think I can still remember blocking from that show. It has like
Mm,
such a vivid impact on me. And I was telling this to Shawnice Omar, who was also in that show.
mhm,
We did a spotlight earlier, well, I guess last year, about parenting. And
mhm.
what I loved, and obviously it's, the richness of the female characters. I mean, and it's also Maya Angelou, so of course that's going to be there. And
Yeah.
her experience, it's her life, but also just seeing different types of mothers on stage. To me,
Yes.
that impact and that importance of storytelling, that like mothers aren't all angelic, but mothers just do their best, right?
Yeah.
To me, that was like the most impactful thing to see on stage is like, wow, we really are just all humans trying to do our best. And I wish there were more mother roles, women's roles that were as
Yeah.
deep as that show. And also Aisha was just like so
I
good.
share. Yes. I
So good.
also think that for me, I loved playing that role too. I got to channel like a part of myself and even my mom that I haven't gotten to do so much
Mhm,
in roles. And the costumes also. I mean,
mhm.
the
And
costumes were
you
great.
played Maya's mom.
I played Maya's mom. Yeah, I
Mhm,
played her birth mom. Hmm.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was dynamic. It
Yes.
was beautiful. It was my favorites. I didn't know if you knew that, but it's one of my
Thank
favorite
you. I didn't know. I didn't
all-time
know.
Seattle performances, hands down. So good. Yeah, so I wanted to share a little bit about my background
Yes.
for those who just know me as Village Theater casting director, right? I also am a director and I'm a teaching artist. I have a deep passion for teaching and a deep insecurity for teaching. I love doing it and always wonder if I'm providing enough, right? That's my life right now, especially during COVID. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Kudos to all the teachers out there right now who are making it happen,
Yes. Thank you.
given all their students' life. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But a big part of my life has been theater business administration, theater admin. When I graduated college in theater arts. I moved to San Antonio and got a great job at a large theater there through Art Center Enterprises, which they are, it's kind of like STG, but in San Antonio, and was the director of theater services for the Majestic and Empire Theater. So I managed all front of house, a 2,000 person usher program, as
Wow.
well as all of the artists coming in and out of our building. So tours, concerts, all these things. My first night was Earth, Wind, and Fire. Right?
Wow. Wow.
It's like
Okay.
supporting them. I have so many crazy stories. I have crazy stories of like supporting one of my favorites, and I hope my husband's watching. He was going to school in San Antonio, and that's why I moved down there. One of the nights, the Blind Boys of Alabama were playing, and their manager needed a little bit of help getting them back to their hotel, and he got to drive them to. There's my husband commenting. He got to drive them to a hotel. So lots of random, exciting things. But one of I think the most pivotal things that came out of that experience for me was I was part of the company that reopened the Mahalia Jackson in New Orleans after Katrina. And I got to sit in on so many meetings about rebuilding, revitalizing, incorporating the community, right? Like the importance of this historic theater landmark and what kind of vibrancy it could bring back to this community. And I got to watch my bosses navigate that and move their lives to support that rebuilding. And that was a really transformative moment for me in the importance of, this is a touring house theater, right? This isn't even a theater that is producing its own work. And I was just really transformed by that of like, wow, if even this touring company house can make this type of difference, what's the pillar of importance within storytelling within our communities? And I think that was so transformative for me just to see that potential, right?
That's so cool. I never knew that.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
I was like, I think maybe I'll share this story, and it can maybe gives more people some insight as to like what makes Jess tick. So there's that. So the next question is, how did Next Stage begin? I will kind of begin that. So the Next Stage actually began in my mind 3 years ago. I was really brainstorming solutions to what I think is the problematic structure of internships, and the access and the support financially you have to have in order to take an internship. I was like, I've never been able to take an internship because I've never been able to afford it. I'm not the only person who's in this boat. And I have a lot of other privileges in my life. So what is the point of these internships and why do we do them? And I started brainstorming, okay, if the point is let's give people skills and opportunity and access, and let's uplift folks who are making their way into the industry and really finding their foothold. What would that look like in my ideal dream of dreams? And so much of my education has been doing, right? I've worked in box offices. I've managed front of house. I have helped with galas. I have schlepped tables, because I think in order to really live in this industry and stay vibrant for as long, you have to understand the whole umbrella of theater, right? And the more skills you have, the more you can be involved, the more you can do. And, you work box office, that skill's transferable into another industry, into another industry. And so I was like, what would be really cool is if we had a whole program that hired 10 to 12 artists every year to literally do all those jobs within our theater that are already being done, and could make a living wage doing all those jobs, and could also supplement and be artists as well. And they would have bosses who would be understandable and flexible and know that that's part of the programming and plan. They could make a living, and then we could also support them with this holistic education in order to support their continued journey in the professional industry. That's very musical theater centric, but I was like, that'd be so cool. It's a big plan. It's a big giant dream. As RJ Tancioko shared with me earlier this week, he's like, but at least you spoke it out loud. I was like, yeah, that's so true.
That's the first step. Speak it out loud.
Yeah, it's planting those seeds. You never know when somebody's going to think about it 3 years later during COVID and be like, what if we implemented this part of it? And that's kind of what happened. We were looking for ways to continue to build community within our artist community during this time. And I was like, what if we did that thing or that part of that thing? And so that's really where the idea came from and was a genesis from. And I knew I wanted a collaborator.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was really excited. So I reached out to Deidre. Teacher, what made you excited about Next Stage?
Well, when I read your initial email, I was like hooked in. I was like, what? Oh, this sounds so intriguing. I knew that it felt like an extension of something that I was already doing, creating space for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this program, that Next Stage, will do that and more. You know, I've already heard people talking about it in conversations like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I love the idea of empowering artists to use the gifts they have to propel them to different and new heights in their career. You know, I think that these classes will help to, one, I think, reaffirm people and their identities and their practices as an artist. It will introduce people to new things that they've never done, and it'll start conversations. So all of those things, I was like, okay. And also, when we worked together on Violet, when we met, I was like, I want to work with this person again. So secretly, like all these years, I've been like, hi, Jessica. It was just, it felt like the perfect time. And I actually had time to do it because I'm not in rehearsal. You know, I don't have that other part of my career, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to be involved in this program. It's just, so I was like, yes. I was like, let me read it over. It took me one day because, you know, you don't want to say yes right away.
You shouldn't.
You have to like look it over, read all the terms, and really decide if it was going to be a good fit for me. And if I thought that the partnership between Jessica and I would be fruitful. And I did. And so I dove right in.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. I really was hoping Deidre would say yes, and I'm really grateful she did. The reason I was so excited to have Deidre join me is we worked together on Violet many, many moons ago. And what I knew of Deidre from that experience was that she was a team player who, that sounds like the wrong word, actually. What you are is you're a community builder. You connect people, you invest in people. It takes you very little time. I use the reference of like, she's a baker to also connect that, because there is something like you find joy in bringing other people joy and community and making people feel special. And that is at the core of why I think you're such a beautiful connector. And it's so funny. Everybody, like, you know, we do those leadership surveys and all those things, and you're trying to talk about like what makes you a good leader and what makes, and like my skill is always like, I'm a connector. I really like seeing how I can get to know somebody and figure out what they do best and figure out who else I know that they can work together and do best with. And that's what I think is so fun about our collaboration is we've already been like, oh, and this person and getting connected with everybody. And I think that that's why it's like simmering in such a great way.
Yeah.
And then I saw all the work you're doing with AOC 206, Artists of Color. Everybody check it out on Instagram. And I was like, all right, Deidre's doing the type of work I want to be a part of. And obviously the stories you tell on stage are the type of stories I love. And that's also what I kept thinking about. And then this is another thing, Tim Simons, who's my collaborator, he was very much, because I was trying to like brainstorm like who, and he called me. He was just like, I think you should work with Deidre because I think that
really,
yes, because he also was like, I think she will be very honest with you, and I think she'll be upfront, and I think that you will thrive with that. And I was like, yes, I would, and I would love that, because that's always the thing is you just want somebody to be real with you and to really collaborate and bring themselves and never feel like you have to have tiptoe or anything. And I'm like, Deidre will do that, and that's what I want.
That is, thank you, Tim. I didn't know Tim did that, and I think that is so spot on. I think we have the type of working relationship that we're just really honest with each other and knowing that it can only benefit the work that we're doing. There's like no ego in this. We're both also helping to create the program, but we're also students along the way. Like
Yeah.
this is a journey. So, you
Half
know,
the time we're excited about the classes because we want to take them.
I
We're like, what do we need to know? Let's do that. Anyway, yes. So anyways, these are all the reasons you should love Next Stage and Come, because Deidre has made it so much better, and it's even better than I could have ever imagined. We should keep going. So
yes,
because
let's
I'm
keep
like,
going.
we're
Yes.
just chatting.
Yes.
Who is Next Stage for? This has been like a huge question, and a huge people are trying to figure this out. Next Stage is for anybody who's 18 years of age or older and considers themselves an artist. That's kind of it. That's kind of it. And I want to encourage people to like think outside of the box. Like, artistic decision makers, you're an artist, you're supporting artists, right?
Mhm.
I think we use the term professional artistic experience. That is just so that folks know that this isn't educational for youth. This is
Right.
for a different part of the learning process. And it was also really important to me. Oh, this is like I'm going like segue to 27 titles. I'll try to remember that when we come back to it. I think just be as simple as possible with that. If you think that you're interested in this programming, you're 18 or over, come join us. Check it out. Because I think what I'm excited about is all these things as of right now. I feel like even my mama would love to learn from. So
Yeah. If it's a topic that excites you, join us.
We would love to have you.
Mhm.
So it's free, it's online, it's 2 times a month. And Deidre, do you want to tell about the 2 different classes?
Sure. So the second Thursday, it'll be the second and the fourth Thursday of the month. And the first class will be a conversation. So each month is built around a theme, and the conversation and the second will be a practical lesson are all focused on a theme for the month. And we will have a guest come, and they will discuss like issues and topics within the theater making process and community. The conversations will help to illuminate the issues and encourage multiple points of view, and we'll discuss, multiple forward thinking solutions. So we're really excited to partner with people who are passionate about what they're doing and know that their way of doing things is unique to them, but we feel like what they can offer will benefit the whole community. Mm-hmm. So, and then the second class will be a practical. So it's really putting the theme into a tangible view. So we'll have instructors or an instructor come in, and they'll create a lesson to generate practical skills and processes essential to theater making. And the goal is providing tools that artists can bring into their practice to encourage balance and growth. I mean, I think throughout this entire process, Jessica and I have been really honing in on how do we make sure we're keeping people balanced, taking away this idea of like, you always have to be running and chasing for the job. Like, we've all done that so much in our careers, no matter what stage of your career you're in. Like, how can we now hone that in during this time and really develop some skills and some practices that will help us be more balanced when we get back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's so important, because I think we both talked about this when we started working together, but right now it's really hard as an artist, no matter what your craft is, to think about, like, especially I'm just using musical theater, but like, what song do I need to put in my book? That's a really hard conversation to have right now when nobody's producing.
Yeah.
So what other skills can we learn during this time? And I love all those things. So you've got a conversation and you've got a practical, and our other goal is that you have something to take with you home from the practical. There will be some sort of something, a goodie to continue to integrate it into your life. So the next part I think is like the most fun part, which is how do we choose? Deidre, speak to this. How do we choose the instructors for Next Stage?
So the first thing we do, we talk about, well, what is the theme? What do we want to do for the month? And then it really comes down to, it's kind of like we have a little pot and Jess and I are throwing in these names. And usually we come pretty quickly to people who we think will really fit into the theme and what we want to provide to the community. So, we have a conversation. This is also a way that I'm learning about people who I haven't worked or collaborated with from Jess.
Mhm.
And I'm bringing people to the table that she may not have heard of, which is a key component in creating an equitable space, I believe, is so that the same voices aren't always heard. I think this program will show people speaking to their expertise whom our community may have never seen before.
Mhm.
And I think that is great. Like, we want people to see faces that they've never seen, debunking the idea of who an expert is in whose eyes. Like, I'm really interested in breaking those old, tired power structures. So we just have a conversation about who would do this, and it's always very fun. I mean, we've so far had I feel like a really successful go at choosing the first few months of the program.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah.
And
then we have to go ahead.
No, keep going.
No, I said, then you have to do the reach out and all that kind of stuff to make sure it can happen. But that's where the genesis starts between the two of us.
Yeah. And I love the conversations we've been having about, like, let's suggest who are the experts, right? Because it also adjusts as a parallel, what does success mean? Like, how can we as artists define our own success? And these are folks who, I think what has been the norm before are, unless you're at the top of your industry within an organization, you have not reached success or done the biggest, boldest, brightest thing within your industry. That's what success is. And that's just not necessarily sustainable or healthy anymore. And so anymore probably never was, but, but I think that to me is the most exciting thing about that as well, is like, oh, I can say I'm achieving success because this is the expert in front of me and I can achieve success just the way that they do as well. And to me, that's really exciting and important. So if you're an attendee for Next Stage, what is your experience, right? So it's free, it's online, it'll be through Zoom webinar, which means you do have to log in online and register to request. And then we send you the link. We have a class tomorrow. You can still register online. You'll get the link. Right now, webinar means that you will see the teachers, the instructors, but you won't be on camera. And our hope for that is that we know that it is rough right now. It is rough. Sometimes you just want to go home, put on your comfy clothes, grab a calming beverage, and sit down and enjoy and not feel like you have to be on all the time, right? Zoom face, right? Like we're always like, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yep. And every format might be different. I know that for Sadiq's class that we're talking about later, they will give you the option to join on screen if you would like. And so that's the other thing, is the structure for every class. We really want to do what will support the instructor and what they have to teach. And so it might be different every time, but for the most part, it'll be via Zoom webinar. The first 45 minutes are the educational portion where the instructors will be sharing. And then and that is recorded. So hopefully if you need to see it again later, you want to attend, but it's during like nighttime, bedtime, you've got 5 kids, you've got a kid, you just don't have the space that day, you can still watch it later. And that's also really important to us, that like the time, the day doesn't necessarily matter. 45 minutes class, that'll be recorded. And then we'll stop the recording and we'll do a Q&A with the instructor. Any thoughts on?
No, I think that just so people understand that when we're building these classes, the instructors are integral in deciding how it should go. We're not telling them, so this is what the class should be like. It really is a meeting of minds and talking about, well, this is our theme and this is what we would kind of feel like the community might want. How can you contribute to that? Do you think that that's something you'd like to talk about? And so what you're getting is from them. and the conversation that we'll have while we're asking questions and talking to them, just know that while we're curating it, we're not dictating what they share with everybody.
And that should hopefully like also keep it fun and new, you know, so that you don't know what you'll expect. So come ready to enjoy and know that there's no pressure to participate. You do it at your own level. Great. So then at the end of the month, we will be uploading the footage from the 2 classes so that if you weren't able to catch it, you can go back and catch it. Kind of like your favorite podcasts. That's my dream.
Me, I'm working on it, actually.
We're going to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to talk about the really fun stuff, which is the classes we have to teach. Deidre, what is the theme for February?
So the theme for February is your health is your wealth. And when we talked about at the beginning of our time today, we talked about this depletion and how what can we be doing to feed the artist. Like this was something we felt would be important to start off with. So the theme is your health is your wealth. Tomorrow's our first class, 7:30 p.m. And we are so excited to have our first instructor, Jay O'Leary Woods.
Woohoo!
And so we're going to explore how we as artists can be our own best advocate. And Jay will guide us as we consider how we can come back together stronger by prioritizing wellness and positive self-esteem as we re-enter artistic spaces after this prolonged pause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know that I am really excited about Jay coming to talk with everyone. I've worked with Jay and we've collaborated together. We haven't been in a full-on production together, but we've worked on other things. And I'm very excited about the work that they are doing in the artistic community. Jess, do you want to speak a little bit about why you're excited?
Yeah,
coming?
Jay is a change maker. They are just moving mountains and I think making an indelible impact on the Seattle theater community. And right now what she's doing is she's focusing the conversation and she's supporting it with grace and love and all the things. But what I think is really exciting about this is when you hear her encourage individuals to really claim their agency. The way she speaks, she gives you such beautiful skills that you're like, I can do this. I can do this. And I think that is what's I'm most excited about with her coming in is having her talk about those skills and share those skills and thoughts and techniques to others so that hopefully when they do re-enter this artistic profession we have, that they feel like I can use these skills. I don't just know about them. I can use them. And I think that I'm praying the impact will continue and I know it will. So I'm really excited.
If you aren't signed up, sign up.
Sign up. It's going to be good.
You don't want to miss it. It's going to be good. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So then our practical.
I love this one.
Yes. So our practical will be on February 25th, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. And in keeping along with our theme, learning to take care of yourself as an artist is like the utmost. And I think we're all guilty of not doing that at certain points in our lives. So we have Sadiqa Iman coming to join us. And Sadiqa is a practitioner at Niles Edge Healing Arts Center. And they will teach us some practical ways to find and maintain balance, explore mindfulness, and practice body awareness. So you should come prepared to move, breathe, and connect to your inner joy. And I'm really excited about the work that Sadiqa is doing at Niles Edge. So please go and check out the website. I got a chance to work with them in the capacity of healing and restoration when I worked on that production of I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. They came in, Niles Edge came in and offered everyone, we got massages. There was a very like calming, peaceful room for us to just like lay down. They had brought in bean bags and mats. We got tea bags, like really the show dealt with a lot of trauma. And I've never worked on a production where they addressed that and fed our souls and our spirits, which have been greatly depleted from, you know, reliving traumas and witnessing traumas on stage, which is hard. And so we had this day of rest, and it was amazing. And so I'm really excited for what they have to offer to the community and to bring us some balance. I think everybody needs that right now. I'm always trying to find ways to, like, how do I find more balance? And, you know, I think I'm more like alert and on Zoom than I had never used Zoom. I think I probably used Zoom a few times before this.
Oh, I had never used Zoom. I had never even
like,
heard of Zoom.
Yeah, it's a different kind of awareness, and your body is shifts in ways that we're not used to. So I am looking forward to some let it down and just relax.
I remember there was a production I was in shortly after moving to Seattle, and I had a pretty large part, but there were some traumatic things in it. And by the end of my 2-show day on Saturday, I had a migraine, right? Like, that's the experience when you have artists who are putting their full bodies and they're vulnerable and their emotions everywhere. I would get a migraine every 2-show day. I just didn't know how to take care of myself to get through that process healthily. And I'm like, well, if I had these skills, what else would that have done for the show? The storytelling, what would the impact have been if I was more available? So I'm really excited. And yes, look up Nile's Edge, because every time I look at their website, I'm like, this is so good. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So March, our theme is a reboot collaboration, and we will be partnering with Reboot Theater. We had a partnership with them last year that unfortunately got canceled by COVID. So this has kind of allowed us to go back to that partnership and re-explore it. But the conversation will be with Josie Kearns, Aaron M. Davis Norman, and Jasmine Joshua. And they are going to share with us how producers, directors, designers, artistic decision makers can best support artists throughout the theater making experience. And the 3 of them specifically will be sharing from their lived experiences to talk about how we can better, as all of those things, people within power essentially can best support what did you say? The uninvited community. What was the phrase? Because I love it.
Who are underinvited.
Underinvited. Yeah. How we can support them throughout the whole process. Choosing your season, what they think would be best practices, what they would love to see, rehearsals, production, tech. The number of times Jasmine and I have talked about dressing room etiquette, right? Those types of things. And I just think hearing from those 3 and their expertise, I'm excited. This is the one where I'm like, I have questions. I would love to learn and just hear your opinions. Please, let's converse. Let's share this. The 3 of them are amazing. Please check out our website and look them up, because their experience is deep and vast. And Aaron especially is literally wanting to change and redefine and ask the questions, why does musical theater have to sound like that?
Yeah.
Can we go ahead and encourage folks to find their true voice and cherish that? And can we then infuse the things that already exist with their own voice rather than expecting them to step into our world? And I'm like, yes, it's so good. And then to have practical steps to make that happen. Yes, please.
Yeah.
And then our practical lesson that week, I'm so excited about this, another collaboration. Josie Kearns is a gender consultant, and she was able to work with us last year on a show at Village Theater, and she directed me to this company called The Voice Lab. The Voice Lab, thank you, Kevin. The Voice Lab is kind of the leading vocal company, and I guess it's a studio, really, that specializes in transgendered and not gender non-conforming voices and supporting them through their experience. So to have somebody with that kind of expertise come and teach a voice lesson. I'm so excited to not only just experiencing that, they call it a voice affirming lesson. And I'm like, wow, if that could be the way every voice lesson or every craft lesson was focused, a voice affirming lesson. And we will have Alexandra Plateau-Sulak joining us. And not only is she just the warmest, kindest person to talk to, she's the co-founder. So this is her mission and her message. And she has a lot to share and teach us all. And I think it'll be a great new perspective. So that's what's on the website at the moment in terms of classes and content. What's our sneak peek into April, Deidre?
Well, April, we're going to talk about money mindset. That's the theme for April. You think about April's taxes. Nope, nobody likes to do their taxes. But Jessica and I, we started to talk about, you know, as artists, a lot of time our relationship with money and how we relate to it is not very healthy. You know, most people were working job to job. You know, you don't always get paid what is a living wage, unfortunately, when we work as theater artists. So how can we like readjust our mindset around our relationship with money and create a healthy, thriving relationship? And really also dig into like the tax information, you know, like we're excited to have a conversation with Janelle Johnson, who's going to join us, who is who works with Village Theater and also does all these other amazing things working with BIPOC communities and investing. Also, we're going to have Chandra Savage, who just happens to be my best friend and who is a financial advisor, winemaker. She has a podcast called Mo Wine, where she talks and reviews wines and just really has given me so much knowledge and empowerment when it comes to money. And hearing about her journey and how she got to where she is now will be very inspiring for everybody.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it because it's true. It's just like nobody wants to talk to about money. It's scary. It's all these things. And because of that negative connotation and those emotions attached to it, like, and even you and I, when we were brainstorming, I was like, wow, money is emotional.
It is.
It's emotional. So how are we as artists supposed to navigate those emotional conversations when so much of this industry is be grateful to get a job, be grateful to get in the door, right? How do you go ahead and continue to remain in that space where you are grateful, but have enough agency to talk about money and to have control over that? So yeah, money mindset, let's shift it up. Let's shift it up. And then we are currently searching for anybody who has any recommendations for a Washington State tax expert who can kind of guide us through. All right, and also like, this is where I'm like, I can't wait to take the class. You know, when we have so many independent contractor contracts come in, you've got 1099s, you've got W-9s, you've got who knows what. What can I use as a deduction? This new time with this room, can I count this as a deduction anymore?
Right.
But I work here on salary. What does that mean? So to help artists answer those questions, know how they should be thinking and planning, that's the practical lesson we're hoping to provide to everybody and to offer up. And then maybe even provide a resource for folks who can support you down the line and continue to engage with artists and have that bandwidth of conversation. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we're like kind of wrapping up, I just want to offer, if anybody has any questions, if you're watching, or even if you're checking us out later and want to go back to the website, please send those questions our way. We're happy to answer them now. We're happy to answer them later. You can even email us at nextstage@villagetheater.org. And you'll get us and we can support you and make sure that you understand what this program is and if it's right for you. Also, I would love to hear feedback, right, Deidre? I know that I feel like we've been a little bit in a vacuum, right? Like brainstorming by ourselves. And I think one of the
this is so good.
So excited. I can't believe it. I'm so ready. But I think that I'm so excited about tomorrow because the final ingredient in the pot is going to be added, which is everybody who's coming to join us.
Yeah.
And so getting that feedback, I think my biggest goal and dream is that this is something that's useful to folks,
Mhm.
and they find it valuable and they find it to be supportive. And the great thing about it is that we can change, we can redirect, we can figure out how to support people the best way they need to be supported. So shout out, let us know.
Yeah, because this program, it's not for us. You know, we're doing it as a service to the community. And as long as we feel like we are upholding that part of the bargain, then we're doing it right. We're doing our job. But I want people to come and engage, and if there's something you're like, oh, maybe you guys, this would be great. I think a course on this, or I have an idea. Email us. Let us know. In our mind, we're just starting, and so we hope that people will come along on the journey with us.
Yeah, what feels really hard? We want to hear what feels really hard so that we can figure out how to support that. So maybe it feels less hard. Yeah. Amazing. Do we want to sneak peek at May even? I don't even know. It's still rough. It's
rough.
Rough.
It's a little rough, but know that
we're excited. We're percolating.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any other thoughts, Deidre?
No, I mean, I'm really excited for tomorrow. I can't believe it's already here. I'm glad we got a chance to do the spotlight so we can fill people in on, the ins and outs of the program, and, why we wanted to do it, because that's a lot of times part that's missing when you go to the thing and you see it and you participate in it, but you don't always get to see like what happened in the journey on the way.
Yeah. How do we get here? Why? Yeah. It wasn't just like, hey, one day. And the dream is it'll grow. The dream is what could it grow into? What could it be bigger? And I think that's also what I'm excited to hear from the community about too, is like, what is the dream for expansion on this? What could it look like? What could we do? But you got to come so that they know it's worth it. Keep funding us. Come. Anyways, okay, great. Well, that is Next Stage, folks. Thanks so much for joining us and for being here. I want to do a big old plug. So tonight is Spotlight. Tomorrow is Next Stage. The next day at Village Theater is Sing It Forward, which is a giant event. Woo-hoo! It's a virtual fundraising benefit for the youth education program. And I have gotten some sneak peek at some of the work that's being done. It's crazy, y'all. Go check out the website because it's incredible. It's like a whole online, you log in and there's different rooms you can go to and you can chat and experience everything. It's like an experience, an online experience. And then there's entertainment and it's free. Again, we do a lot of free things right now, Village Theater. You could do it all for free. Yeah. And the entertainment, you'll probably cry. It will probably reinvigorate your soul. And I recommend you check it out. So that's Friday. Shout out to that. And then I also want to say, come to Next Stage tomorrow. But then also Spotlight. The next Spotlight is going to be on February 23rd. It's a Tuesday, everybody. So holler out that one. It's a different day. And the song is How Far I Will Go. I'll Go. That's a Hercules song. I think. Is that Hercules?
How Far I Will Go.
No. Oh, Moana, of course, Moana. But knowing the host, Aaron Alonso, that makes total sense. Disney at heart. He loves Disney. Aaron's going to be hosting, and he has guests Mari Zingarelli and Joel Arpin, and they will explore what it means to transform from Kid Stage students to staff and their feelings of what legacy means. 3 amazing humans who, every time I have a meeting with our Kid Stage staff, I'm like, wow, I need to be a better everything because y'all work so hard and give all of your soul and all of your heart and your body and your mind. They're so dedicated and they're a beautiful team. And I'm so excited that they're going to be coming to share with you. So join them February 23rd, Next Stage tomorrow, Sing It Forward Friday. You could be really busy with Village Theater. It's exciting. All the things.
All the things.
Deidre, you're amazing. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. You're amazing. This was fun. I feel like this is our version of like a late night talk show. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's doing, you know, Trevor Noah had his little, you know, virtual.
If Trevor Noah wants to join us for Next Stage.
Yeah. If anybody knows Trevor Noah.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then Brene Brown is also on our list.
Yes.
All those things.
You know what I wanted to say? The person who I heard the term under invited, Alina Santillion. I heard it from them. Shout out to them. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, friends. Good night, everybody. Thank you for everything. And we will see you and talk to you tomorrow at Next Stage. See you there.
Tomorrow.
Bye.